Hello and welcome to whatever I just dragged home. Well, I just drug home. Well, technically I drug it home last night, but it was a little dark. After work, I went and checked his car out and bought it. 2005 Mercury Grand Marquis. 4.6 V8, which all the Ford boys have told me it's a good motor, so I don't know. Now, I scored this little puppy for $1,600. Runs and drives. Almost new tires on it. I say 80% life left. Hadn't been driven very long on those tires. Supposedly 104,000 original miles. It's pretty low mileage for 2023, 2005. Story goes, this guy bought it off the car lot. The old man that had it before traded it in at $25,000. Well, it's not without its issues, but it doesn't run and drive because I drove it home. You know what? Let's take a look at it anyway. This thing's set under a tree. Got a little spot there. Clear coat, or just paint all together there. Clear coat peeling here. You can see where some of the black stuff from the tree is. Overall, the driver's side is pretty good, you know. Not bad. Trunk's got some peeling. It's mostly cosmetic. The door there got a little dent in it, not too bad. Missing a hubcap. And the worst of the cosmetic damage is right there. It's fixable, not a problem. But let's look inside. You can see that's still there. And yeah, it is a little trashy and dirty in here still, but you know, whatever. Seat's in alright shape. Obviously, driver's side's always worse for wear. Passenger side, not bad. Back seat, pretty decent. Headliner, fairly decent. It's got a hole there from, guess, how the dude drove it. But let's start it up. Starts right up. Pop the hood for a second. And has good oil pressure. The alternator is getting weak, I've noticed. It's dropping a little bit. He told me that the trip quit working and then the odometer quit working. Said that happened last week. But yeah, which it's probably close to original. I don't know, maybe it has something to do with that. That don't feel right in there. Well, kind of moved anyway. The only thing he said isn't working is the AC. I mean, that feels kind of cool. It's swapped over, but I'm not sure why he said the AC, but I kind of hear a blend door in there ticking. So that may be it. Now under the hood, unfortunately, the hood struts are worn out and need to be replaced. So I'm going to set you back up here. Whee! And this thing is purring like a kitten. It's smooth, the ride is smooth. It drives pretty good so far. So, yeah, once I start checking into things, give this thing a little tune up and all that good stuff, maybe it'll put a little performance on it, you know? But this part is where I'm going to have to dig into it and then order parts. Alright, so First thing I want to do before I get started on anything is change the looks, because let's be honest, that didn't look too good. So I'm going to change it. Now that made a big difference, I think anyway. The only thing is I may have to do is keep a lookout for another set of tires for it, because those are kind of low. Those are taller and wider. I like that to be a little taller. But you know what? That makes the car look a whole lot better. Now, eventually what I'm going to do is with the wheels on it, make it look like that. You know I'm going to have to do some kind of exhaust, because the exhaust in this thing sucks. So first, I need to do a little tune-up. Fix a few things. I'll probably go ahead and start cutting the old exhaust and working up on getting a new one. All right, I got the new hood lift supports on and they work great. That's going to help a lot, really, honestly. So now, I don't know why I decided to do this. I don't know what came over to me. It's got 104,000 miles. They've never changed the serpentine belt. I guarantee you they never changed the plugs. And I'm going to change the plugs. Now I'm about to put new plugs in. And things should run pretty good. The old ones look a bit worn out. It's got 100,000 miles on it. It's probably time. I guarantee you those originals. These right here last a while. I run them in everything I own. Never had a problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting them in. Alright, I got the plugs changed. Pretty easy. Now wouldn't you know, just changing the plugs just made the whole engine look a lot better. But seriously, a little cleanup, this car is looking a lot better already. Now I'm going to go ahead and change the oil, start up, let it run for a little, get it warm, because I like changing mine warm. And yeah, that should be pretty good for now. I'm waiting on the alternator back. I'm waiting on several parts for back order, so I'm trying to do what I can do for all the parts come in. That way I'm not doing it all at once, and you know, that good stuff. I got to do it. Got to move the seat back first. So I've already moved both seats forward. I took the air blower in there and blowing all the dirt and dusting out from under the floorboard and all that, and trying to push everything under the seats to the back. And oh yeah, and that's soda that spilled on the floor apparently when I bought it. And there's stuff back there, and there. And I know he knew that was there because he moved it from that side to that side when I came and picked it back up. Yeah, I've got to clean this up. Well, as for the door pan or the window, it's not the motor. Luckily, I believe it's the switches. Now, the driver's side, you hit the down button, go straight down, no problem at all. Then when you hit the up button, you use it for example, and you got to keep hitting it, and then eventually it'll go up and stop, and then you hit it again, it goes all the way up. This side wasn't even working at all. So it led me to believe a switch. But before I ordered parts randomly, I wanted to test it. So all I do is just hook up a battery. Like this DeWalt battery, it's 12 volts, so it works. Put power to the window. Guess what? It works. No problem at all. That tells me it's a switch. Now, the exhaust came in and the switch is shortly after. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I got my flame-proof VHT. I'm going to go ahead and paint some of the exhaust before I put it on the car, but I'm going to let it dry before I put it on. That way it'll give me time to deal with switches. So what I've got here is this 2-inch H-pipe, which is actually a factory style H-pipe, so it's going to bolt right in. Did that for several reasons. One, I don't want this thing to be too overly loud, because I don't know the clientele behind this and who's going to want it and what they're going to want. So I'm doing a moderation thing here. Leave the catalytic converters on. This had a Y pipe, so I'm going to this H pipe. And then if you can see, I welded these 2.5-inch reducers on it. That way, I can run a 2.5-inch muffler and then run those 2.5-inch axle overs. Now these are from a Fox body Mustang, or for a Fox body Mustang. And that's a pretty decently close bend on the axle over. And that's what I'm going to go ahead and use. It's going to give me a little bit of tone without being too aggressively loud, with it still using the 2-inch, etc., 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 you know. So, get this painted and ready to bolt on. And I'll go to the switches. But it's going to take me a minute to clean all this tape and crap they put on it. Alright, moment of truth. That's all it was, just switch. Now what I'm looking at is where to grease it, which there's not much. To grease, but there's some where the metal is, this right here slides up against. I want to grease that, just make sure it lasts longer. Now there ain't much other than that, so I am going to grease that a little bit. I put it right there. Actually, it did help. It's a little smoother, so we're good. Probably. So this one was a switch too. I had a feeling but yeah, so perfect. Now I'm going to take the store. Well, I don't know, it sounded pretty good. I greased the other one, I might as well grease this one. Okay, so these aren't exactly lining up correctly. They are a little bit off. Not a big deal though. And you can see it's, maybe you can see, it's that far off. Yeah, that's how far off it is. So what I'm doing is I get a ratchet strap and I am going to pull those together. That way it pulls both of them at the same time and it kind of evens them out. Yeah, it really didn't take much. And I am putting these dampeners back on because again, this ain't some full-blown hot rod. It does have a V8, but you know what? It's also kind of a big luxurious car. So I need to make sure that it at least is, you know, kind of want it mild, I should say. So I'm putting the dampeners back on it. Unfortunately, it looks like I won't be able to use my impact on that one. So I cut the Y pipe funny, was to get on there and get my impact. This one I'm not going to be able to, but that's all right. I'll be able to tighten it down here in a second and see how it actually sounds with that H pipe. and then I'll do the rest of that back there later. I might go ahead and try to set the axle overs up for now, but yeah, I may not. I think I'm just gonna stop right here with the H pipe. I might, because I don't even know if I got enough hangers to put hangers back there. So, and I might have to tweak these, the H, or the back of the H right there. It clears the body, luckily. So then there's plenty of room for a muffler. So we're good there. It's dark, but let's hear it anyway. Yeah, the H-pipe sounded a lot better. Now it's a little throatier, a little deeper, a little meaner. Yeah. That sounds a lot better. I think with the rest of the exhaust, it's gonna sound great. Now, since all the rest of the parts are on back order, well, I'm just gonna have to wait to finish this. So, it's the end of this episode for it. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, thanks for watching.